Imagine you walk outside your house to get the morning paper and it appears to be snowing. You think to yourself, how can that be possible? It is summer. You then realize that your worst nightmare has come true. This is not snow, it is ash. The beautiful mountain outside your town is not just a mountain, it is a volcano and it has erupted. You may think that this could never happen to you, that volcanoes only appear in the movies. Volcanoes do exist here in the US and they are dangerous. Today I'm going to discuss what a volcano is, where they are located, and what happens when an eruption takes place. The information I am going to share with you comes from recent research as well as years of interest in volcanoes. The Federal Emergency Management Agency's website, accessed June 14, 2008, defines a volcano as a mountain that opens downward into a pool of molten rock below the surface of the earth. While people may understand what a volcano is, they may not know that there are different types. The Funk and Wagnall's New Encyclopedia, Volume 24, explains that volcanoes can be active and inactive. The active volcanoes can or recently have had an eruption of any size. The inactive volcanoes are usually dormant for some period of time, but still hold the capability of an eruption. Another way to classify volcanoes is by shape and by composition. According to the 1995 edition of National Parks, a few volcano types include cinder cone, shield, composite. Cinder cones have one vent and a very large slope. Is a shorter volcano with a less dramatic slope than the cinder cone. Lastly, the composite volcano has a dramatic slope and is formed by the multiple eruption points in the cone. Please view the following diagrams to compare the shape. Now that we know a little more about volcanoes and how they are classified, let's talk about the main feature, the eruption. Eruptions do not just consist of lava, they are much more complex. The MSN Encarta Online Encyclopedia, accessed June 14, 2008, states that there are two main types of eruptions, explosive and non-explosive. Explosive eruptions are visually dramatic, launching lava and rock into the air. Non-explosive eruptions produce less dramatic visuals, but still encompass the fury of nature. There are also other aspects of eruptions that are hazardous besides the obvious. According to the Federal Emergency Management Agency, also known as FEMA, which was cited earlier, a mix of acidic gas and ash is also released when the eruption takes place. This acidic gas ash mixture can cause lung damage as well as structural damage. This mixture can affect people within hundreds of miles of the volcano. FEMA also explains that lava from an eruption is destructive material that in itself is a very large fire hazard. FEMA also warns of other potential dangers that can be caused by a volcanic eruption. Some of these dangers include earthquakes, landslides, acidic rain, rockfalls, fire, and many more. It is important to recognize the possibilities of natural disasters due to a volcanic eruption. Now that we know some more about the dangers of an eruption, I will explain why this information is important. An online article published by the U.S. Geological Survey website, accessed June 14, 2008, states that about half of the United States' 169 volcanoes are dangerous. This means that we have 169 volcanoes in the U.S. and about half of these, 85, are dangerous. The FEMA website, as cited earlier, explains that volcanoes are mostly located in Hawaii, Oregon, Alaska, and Washington. While this is where most of the volcanoes are, please note the following diagram of where some of the volcanoes are located here in the continental U.S. According to the 2005 edition of Rocks and Minerals, an eruption took place on May 18, 1980 at Mount St. Helens that took the lives of 60 people. This volcano, located in Washington, should remind all of us that danger is not far. It is here in the U.S. and it is quietly lingering. Another point that the article makes is that the Hawaiian Islands are composed mainly of volcanic rock formed over a very long period of time. This is another instance that volcanic activity is right here in the U.S. Now that we are aware of the risk of volcanoes right here in the U.S., it is time to discuss a recent update for the monitoring of these volcanoes for safety and scientific purposes. The U.S. Geological Survey website, as cited previously, released a statement in 2005 about a new warning system for the monitoring of these volcanoes. The NVEWS, or the National Volcano Early Warning System, has been created to ensure that the most threatening volcanoes in the U.S. are being monitored for safety. At the onset of unrest, action is taken and the volcano is closely monitored, so further action such as evacuation may be taken if needed. As you can see, volcanoes are dangerous forces of nature and are located here in the United States. Volcanoes are classified by shape and activity level as well as size. Knowing the dangers of these volcanoes and their eruptions, as well as being educated about the NVEWS system, is important, especially if you ever move to or visit an area with potentially active volcanoes. So, when you decide to buy that beautiful house in the mountains of the western U.S., or you wish to vacation in the Hawaiian Islands, take a second look at the scenery and realize that it could one day snow during the summer.